All right, let's dive right into this masterclass explainer. Today, we're completely breaking down the GoHighLevel API integration guide for 2026. Look, if you've ever felt the absolute pain of your agency wasting hours on manual data entry or, constantly copying and pasting lead information between different platforms, you are exactly where you need to be. As experts in this space, we're going to look at exactly how the GoHighLevel API serves as the ultimate blueprint for total business automation. By the time we wrap up, you're going to understand how to architect systems that completely eliminate the busy work and literally run entirely on autopilot. So here's our clear roadmap for what we'll be covering today. First up, we're demystifying the GoHighLevel API. Second, APIs versus webhooks explained. Third, unlocking centralized business workflows. Fourth, the 7-step integration framework. And finally, number 5, expert best practices and pitfalls. Let's get right to it.
Okay, Section 1. Demystifying GoHighLevel API, the central nervous system.
Now, when we're talking about building a scalable modern enterprise, an API is never just some nice-to-have luxury. It is literally the central nervous system of your entire business. So what is it? A REST API is fundamentally a secure set of rules that enables different applications to communicate, synchronize data, and automate CRM connectivity. Think of a REST API as a highly secure bilingual translator. Without it, your different software applications are basically like two people speaking entirely different languages, stuck in separate soundproof rooms. When you utilize the GoHighLevel API, you're setting up secure authentication protocols that allow third-party tools to talk directly to your CRM, flawlessly translating that data. It handles all the heavy lifting of synchronization so that everything from lead management to complex operational automation happens seamlessly behind the scenes. It completely bridges those soundproof rooms.
Moving on to Section 2, APIs versus webhooks explained, understanding data flow.
Now, what's really interesting about this is that understanding the exact flow of data is exactly what separates a brittle, amateur system from an unbreakable expert one. You absolutely need to know when to pull data and when to just let the data come to you. So think of an API as an active request. It often relies on a manual or scheduled trigger to fetch information, which creates a really robust two-way communication channel. For instance, you might use a direct API called to bulk sync a list of past customers from a legacy database into GoHighLevel, say every night at midnight. Conversely, a webhook acts as a reactive push. It's an automatic trigger that sends instant notifications the literal second an event happens, making it perfect for real-time, event-based automation. A great example of this is using a webhook to instantly fire a confirmation SMS out of GoHighLevel the precise second a new Stripe payment clears. Knowing when to use a two-way API fetch versus a one-way webhook push, that is the cornerstone of seamless system architecture.
Section 3. Unlocking centralized business workflows, the GoHighLevel ecosystem.
This is where we shift our focus to the strategic side of things. Let's look at exactly why you'd choose to connect these specific platforms into the GoHighLevel ecosystem. Just imagine this scenario for a second. A lead fills out a custom WordPress form on your site. Instantly, their profile is logged in GoHighLevel, a custom Stripe checkout link is generated and emailed to them, they're prompted to book a time via calendars, and your sales team gets a Slack ping with all the lead's details. Pretty amazing, right? And you can orchestrate all of this without a single human intervention. Using platforms like Zapier or Make allows you to handle complex workflow routing, tying the whole shebang together. You aren't just hooking up random pieces of software, you're interconnecting these specific platforms into one centralized, automated machine.
The ultimate goal of all these connections? Absolutely elite operational efficiency. But here's the thing. Efficiency isn't just about saving time, it's about preventing human error. When you successfully integrate the GoHighLevel API, you get a centralized CRM with automatic lead capture and real-time updates. This drastically reduces manual work, and let's be honest, automated systems don't take coffee breaks, they don't get tired at 4 p.m., and they certainly don't misspell your high-ticket client's name. In turn, that faster, flawless workflow automation creates a completely frictionless customer experience while giving you highly accurate, improved reporting. This right here is what a professional-grade business operation actually looks like in practice.
Section 4. The 7-step integration framework, a proven methodology.
So the crucial point here is that you cannot just wing this. Setting up integrations requires a proven step-by-step methodology to ensure flawless execution every single time. Step 1 is to always identify your business workflows. You have to map out exactly what you want the data to do before you touch any technology. Because you know what happens if you map out a bad process? You simply end up automating chaos. Step 2 is to generate your API credentials right within GoHighLevel. Step 3 is where you securely configure your authentication. This is incredibly important, as incorrect authentication routing is exactly where most people get permanently locked out of their own systems. Step 4 is to connect your front-end tools, like those WordPress forms we talked about, so your very first touchpoint, the lead capture, is perfectly synced directly to the CRM.
Let's see how this builds as we move into the final execution phases. Step 5 is testing your webhook events to ensure that the automatic data push is firing instantly. A word of the wise, never ever run a live campaign without testing your webhook payloads first, unless you really enjoy apologizing to angry clients when their onboarding emails don't arrive. Step 6 requires you to validate the CRM data. You're checking that the incoming data is completely accurate, properly formatted, and free of errors. Finally, Step 7 is an ongoing process to monitor and optimize your automation. You never just set it and forget it, right? You continuously review the flow to maintain peak performance as your business scales and changes.
Section 5. Expert Best Practices and Pitfalls. Wisdom from the Trenches.
We are now getting into the essential guardrails. This is the insider advice you need to follow to prevent catastrophic operational failures. An integration is only as strong as its error handling and security practices. Making two systems talk to each other? Well, that's only half the battle. It requires bulletproof security and meticulous error management to ensure the systems don't just collapse when something unexpected happens. Bad error handling usually results in silent failures. That means a highly qualified lead drops out of your funnel, disappears into the digital void, and your system doesn't even send you an alert. That is lost revenue, plain and simple.
To maintain a high standard of operation, we group these best practices into 3 distinct phases. First, it all starts with your perimeter. Always use secure authentication and test your integrations thoroughly before going live. Next, protect your data. Validate all incoming data payloads, monitor your API usage limits so you don't hit throttling caps, and of course, back up your most important data. Finally, protect your team. Thoroughly document your workflows and review your integrations regularly so that you, or the person who built the automation, do not become a single point of failure if someone happens to be out sick.
Conversely, identifying common pitfalls before they happen safeguards your entire system. Using incorrect API credentials and ignoring security practices are pretty obvious risks, but let's talk about duplicate contact creation for a second. This is a massive pain point in GoHighLevel. If your API payload isn't correctly configured to match existing contacts by email or phone number, you're going to suddenly find yourself with 3 different CRM profiles for the exact same John Smith. This leads to your automated emails firing at John 3 times simultaneously, completely ruining the customer experience and requiring hours of manual database deduplication to fix. So, get your matching rules right.
You've now got the complete roadmap to master the GoHighLevel API in 2026. You understand the core differences between an active API pull and a reactive webhook push. You know exactly how to seamlessly orchestrate a massive software ecosystem. And you've got the rigorous 7-step framework needed to build secure, highly automated workflows that prevent human error. So I'll leave you with this provocative question to think about. With your CRM now running completely on autopilot, what will you build next? Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and I absolutely cannot wait to see the incredible operational mastery you achieve.